everybody. Nick DiVirgilio at Sweetwater Studio A, hanging out with Frank Zummo, and I'm super honored to be playing drums with you, man. This is really cool.
So fun.
Behind this killer little SJC busker kit, and you got the heirloom kit there. What is it that brought you to drums? What is it, the love of this instrument? What is it about it?
I was born into it. I was lucky. My parents were in a band together, performing literally up until my mom had me. And my mom was a singer, my dad was a drummer, and the drums were set up in the house. And they said when I was like 2 or 3, I just wandered away from the dinner table, and the next thing they heard, I was playing drums, and that was it. And then, like, what really stamped it for me was at 5, my parents took me to see Ozzy and Motley Crue in an arena, and
Nice.
that was it. I made a pact at that moment. I was just like, this is what I want to do, which is so crazy to be that young and to, you know, have that happen.
Sure.
It's just, and that's been it.
So you play in a kind of an aggressive band now, Sum 41. You play hard, right? It's loud. Do you break off into playing other kinds of music? What do you listen to when you're not touring?
A lot of just super chill, ambient, electronic music.
Well, because you do a lot of EDM stuff on the side as well,
yeah,
too.
I mean, I tour with Keizo a lot, and that's pretty on par with Sum 41. It's very heavy electronic music,
Okay.
and I'm going as hard as, you know, I am as in Sum 41. It's that kind of intensity.
Okay.
But now, this last year, I've just been creating, you know, I was just inspired to just do something different, do something on my own, and I just started working with a bunch of really incredible artists, DJs, producers, and working on a solo record. And it's been really fun to just, you know, really dive into songwriting and to work with all these different people. Like, I've recorded at different studios every song on this record, which has been amazing. And, you know, I was telling you earlier, when I was here 2 summers ago, you know, this place blew me away, and I was like, I have to do something here. And when Sum 41 tour was announced and I knew we were coming here, I was like, okay, now's the time. And I have like 2 to 3 songs left on this record to track. Like, what perfect timing with these new SJC kits coming out. So it's a pretty perfect little magical blast, you know, right before we get into the holiday season.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Wrap the year up.
It's killer. So right before we did our little jam here together, Frank's playing on a couple of his solo songs in the studio. It sounds great.
Thank you.
And the drums are really recording well.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's your first solo record. So what's the oldest song you have in your compilation of solo songs for this record? How long has it taken to get to this point?
Pretty much a year.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No, it's been a year. The first song that was written and recorded, we released, because Keizo produced it and wrote it with me. We released it at Coachella.
Nice.
When I played Coachella last year. So that's kind of how we rolled this thing out. And pretty much since that time, I've been just in the studio on breaks, but I've also been working with a lot of producers, you know, all over America based on our touring schedule. So, like, I've tracked some stuff in Arizona, now in Fort Wayne. So it's kind of cool,
Yeah.
just because, you know, to not limit it to only people in LA.
Sure.
And it's been really, really incredible, and I'm excited to dive in. We're actually going to launch this officially at the Slam Dunk Festival in May.
Nice.
Sum 41's headlining both nights, and I'm going to play the kickoff party and debut kind of this solo thing overseas for the first time. And it's a one-man show. I'm just up there playing to all these tracks and mixing in just some of my favorite stuff, mashups, everything from metal to hip hop to, you know, dance music. And it's been really fun just as another, you know, outlet of just creative, you know, and it kind of was inspired from just doing all this, you know, stuff with SJC, these Loyals for the Craft things, and, you know, just being out there on my own and just being inspired by a lot of these upcoming kids and stuff. I was like, you know, I want to do something different and really push myself and do something I've never done before, and really put the drums at the forefront here, you know, which you don't really see a lot in, you know, popular music. And, you know, in the beginning, people thought it was just going to be a very percussive record, and I'm like, I have street drum corps for that. This is songs, you know, they're songs. Have a different singer, you know, male, female on every different track, and it's just fun to merge all the worlds I like of rock music and electronic music and kind of put them together. And, you know, it's been fun taking these drums and layering them with electronic samples as well, and, like, you know, playing that kit for a verse, this kit for, you know, a chorus. And I've literally used, you know, acrylic drums. I used, you know, my dad's kit that I learned on, a 76 Ludwig kit that actually Mike from SJC helped me restore. And I used that on the first, you know, song I recorded So it's been cool to just have all these different flavors and sounds and creative stuff.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations on all of that.
Thank you.
So speaking of the songs, what do you write on? I mean, you writing them from a drummer's perspective? Or you play guitar, keyboards? How are you writing your songs?
It's all different.
Okay.
It could be just a beat that I'll work with a songwriter on, and we'll develop it from there. Sometimes with these DJ people, we'll just get in a room and talk about a concept and just start, building. Sometimes a songwriter will present an idea to me, but it's all different. And I got asked to score a podcast, and I did that on our 2 tours ago on Sum 41, and it just really inspired me to get gear. So I called you guys at Sweetwater. I got Ableton. I learned it on that tour, keyboard control. Now I have a little studio rig. So my goal is, to write a couple songs on each tour, on days off and stuff, and they'll just be, labeled like, Thanksgiving, we were somewhere in Canada, it'll be labeled Thanksgiving, this city.
Right. And
it's been really fun, and thank you guys for supplying me with the tools to do this stuff and have like kind of a road rig that's in my dressing room case that I can just pop out and work on the road.
That's awesome, man. So I'm gonna take a left turn here. With Sum 41, you're using your SJC kit there. I know you have a big setup there, but what are you hearing when you're playing at your gigs? Are you guys in your van, everything monitors? What's going on with you guys on stage?
Because I've been posting a lot of GoPro footage of my perspective for social media and stuff. A lot of kids been asking. Our stage is a quiet stage. I'm the only thing that's live. The guys are going through Kempers, we're on in-ears, so there's no wedges, and all that. I like to hear the full band. I have a full mix of everything, with drums and click kind of a little on top. And then just like a butt kicker system just to feel the low end. But our mix sounds so good out front because there's not all these loud amps and monitors. It's just me that's got to battle, the live microphones and stuff. But our live sound has been pretty incredible on this tour. We're using the Avid console for front of house. Right. We're mixing samples, some triggers with the live drum mic, so it's like we're getting just the craziest tones. So it's been fun to kind of, really get the live sound dialed on this run.
Sure. Now, you obviously love acoustic drums, SJCs, fantastic stuff, but do you like getting into that electronic side of stuff with triggers and getting into the details, the technology? Do you like all that stuff too?
I really do. I've always used, back when I was a kid coming up, I had a D-drum rig with the big old red brain that you had to put like Atari-looking cartridges in. I've always used electronics. When I got in Sum 41, that was something that, I talked to our singer if he was interested in me bringing that element into the band, because I'm like, you guys have all these amazing loops and keyboard sounds and things on the record that I would love to fire and play live, because we don't use any playback. We play live. There's 5 of us. Everyone sings. Everyone, 3 guitar players. And they were all for it. So I'm triggering a lot of those samples and sounds from the record. Like there's even parts where, I'm playing some keyboard lines, and like to pull that off live, you have to almost simplify some of your drumming to play that stuff. And that's like where you take your ego, and it's just like, I'd rather just make this sound great than play this exact fill on the record that I physically can't do now because I have one hand over here on sample pads, and it's just been fun to just add that sonic, element to the band. They're all about it, and
and you're serving the song, right? You're putting on a show, and that's what it's all about.
Because that would bum me out when I would go see bands, and they'd have these amazing things that were on the records, and you go live and they weren't there. It always would, not saying that that's wrong or right, it would just bum me out. So I'm like, there's these great samples and things like technology now. It's easy to fire this stuff, and Roland's really given me the tools to do that. And what's even next level is during my drum solo, we're taking MIDI out of my triggers, and I'm firing the light show.
Nice.
Because when I'm doing improv stuff, my light guy is not gonna nail that,
Right.
So he's like, you're driving the light show. So all these lights that we have under my riser, on the riser, I'm controlling. So this kick drum does that light, this kick drum does that light. So we've literally used the technology of the MIDI to be able to do that, which is pretty cool.
Nice. Now, so is the light show for your drum solo different every night?
When I go to the improv section, because I just kind of play off the cuff and go for that. So that's why he was like, I want you to drive at that point. This way it's like spot on. And then even some parts in the show when it's like things that have to be really tight with like you know, there's a double bass thing that locks in with the guitars. The strobes have to be dead on. My kick triggers are firing those lights in that part, you know?
It's amazing. Very cool
Technology, man.
It's
It
awesome
rules.
stuff. Well, cool, man. So you said this tour is just about finished. You've been touring for a long time
We've
now
been out
on
since
this run.
March. We have 3 more shows, then we go home for Christmas break.
Right. But then you're back out again.
World touring in 2020. We start the year off with a week of Japan, and then a month in Europe, and then we got to hit the rest of the world for the rest of 2020, and then sneak in the solo stuff and more, you know, SJC, Loyal to the Craft stuff, on my breaks, and just, you know, get in the most family time, because I have 2 little boys at home, so it's like that's the priority as well on downtime.
But you're hard working, man. It's congratulations on everything you're doing.
You know, I wake up and get to do this every day, and I want to be able to do that every day. So whatever I have to do to make that happen is just kind of my motivation every day to do this.
That's awesome. Well, let's close out this interview with that. Let's play some more of these drums.
Great.
Thanks so much for coming, man.
Thank you. Thanks, Sweetwater. You guys have been awesome.